My name is Akio Sakido.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Leo Bliss.
My name is Akava. I go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. I love Rapid TV.
Shout out to
Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV. This is Rapid TV.
Rapid TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it well down.
Leave it like that.
Chineke ukwu ọ bụghị kere elu ka ala anyị na-atụrụ gị mma lekwe ndị bịara nga m ugbu a ọ bụ ndị nshi na Rapid telivishọn ha bịara ka mụ na ụlọ abụ mkparịta ụka ka mụ na ụlọ abụ mkpa ife gbasara omenala madachi Chineke ukwu o jiri bịa leji ala nna m chi ọ bịara nga m abịagbule m ya nga ịla mkpukpu apụla ya n'azụ ọ bụ ọjị na anyị na-eji anabata ọ bụkwa na ọjị la nna anyị njiri lụọ nwaanyị lụọ nne anyị ọ bụkwa na ya na njiri ga-anabata we ọ bụkwa na ọjị la anyị na-eji anabata ọbịa ya ana machi Chineke ukwu mkpa a bịarụwa ma enyewa ọjị aga wee ta ọjị tata mma anyị ga-eta ọjị tata udo anyị ga-eta ọjị tata ọganihu ọ ga-edoro Abia steeti mma ọ ga-edoro Naijiria mma n'aha nke nna na nke ọkpara na nke mmụọ nsọ amen.
ije mmiri a na-echiri echi ọdụgbo ka ọ ya adị maka na ọbọsị a kpụrụ ite ka etiri ite onu wee si Chukwu na ndị ana onye sikwa na ya abụcha anyị bụkpa anya na-agba akpọ n'anya n'isi ọ bụrụ anyị agwọ nsị agwọ aja onye nwe gbọcha nsị na gwọcha aja aka nsị na aka aja baa anya ọnụ onye si na ọ ya adịla anyị mma ọ ya adịrị onye ahụ asị Chineke nna ekekere ụwa na-ekwe ọjị nji n'aka ibe ọbụla mkpu n'uchichi nke a bụrụ mmasị gị Chineke Chukwu were aka wepụ ya n'ọjị ya ma nke meloterekwu ya ga ọbụla mkwuri ebe niile mkwuru emeche Chukwu were aka tinye n'ọjị ya ka anyị taa ọjị a tata ndụ tata udo tata ịfụnanya tata ngọzi Chineke.
Good morning. This is Eastern Circle, and we are reaching you live from our studio here in Umuahia, the capital of Abia, the God's own state. On today's episode of Eastern Circle, we'll be bringing you our cultural diary, where we'll be showing you some of the dishes from Abia State. My name is Adeze Egwim, and as always, I'm never alone in the studio. I have Michael here with me. Mikey, love.
A very good morning to you. I'm just going to ignore the fact that he just added love to the mic here, right? Because I know this is what happens when the ladies, they want to scam the guys.
Last week I told you I loved you, and
okay. But it's still a scam. I know that.
I'm not scamming you.
For the record, she's scamming me. So don't bother. We know ourselves. Yeah?
All right.
Good morning to you. Very good morning. It is Eastern Circle. Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Today's episode, as she rightly mentioned, we are going straight to, we'll be doing a cultural diary. And today there's a bit of something from the southeast, not just Abia State. So when we talk about the food we'll be talking about today, if you're an Igbo person, it's something that you're very familiar with, and not just the fact that you're familiar with it, the point that it is, it has a lot of health benefits. It's also something that you have to be very conscious about today. And we saw a video, that video we played with that we brought to you earlier. It shows how rich our culture is. All right. I cannot overemphasize that, especially the importance of kola nuts in the Igbo culture. I mean, you see the emphasis, the spirit, the energy that man put in blessing the kola.
Proverbs.
Exactly, a bunch of proverbs, and it's all about talking about truth, justice, and fairness. So if you don't have these things, if you cannot be upright, and when you're not upright, these things can work against you. That's why we have the concept of Ofo and Ogu in Igbo land. So because that is like the bedrock of our culture. Because we're people of peace, that actually we just want to do good. And if you're a person that has evil in you, one way or another, the forces, natural forces, which he was trying to talk about in that video, will come against you one way or the other.
I agree with you, Michael. You know, the Igbo proverb is an integral part of the Igbo
Exactly.
people. Now, using those proverbs, if you don't really know what they mean, it might be very difficult for you to understand it. But those proverbs actually says a lot about us as Igbo people.
Yeah.
It shows what we believe in. It talks more about our traditions and our cultures. And I love listening to those proverbs. There's also an Igbo proverb that says, "Ona turilu kowara ya nege jelone ya."
That translates to, in fact, I would rather not translate that word for word, but basically, in Igbo land, you are not to be given a translation of proverbs. All right, let's not go into details about it. But hey, today, before we get into the cultural diary, we get to start first of all with a report regarding the Eastern Narrow Gauge Line. Something interesting about that particular project. We'll get to that in a moment after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Glad to have you join us once again. This is Eastern Circle, and we're getting started with the narrow gauge line that is set to commence operations here from Port Harcourt to Abia State, Maiduguri, and all of that. It's first of all, what is it? What do you think about it? Is it a beautiful? Do you think it's a beautiful thing?
Michael,
Before I get to say what I want to say about that,
looking at that picture,
is it good news?
Yes, it is. It's actually good news, but it's not as good as I had expected it to be. Looking at the pictures I saw on the internet, that was not what I was expecting to see. What I saw was like something put together by some welder by the roadside. It didn't really look like, for me,
I wouldn't like locomotive that we were away from.
I wouldn't want to patronize or enter this type of trains, seeing other things from other parts of the country. Yes, we have anticipated this means of transportation, but seeing this particular, now look at the fan there. Yes, they said the first class couch has air condition. Now this couch has a ceiling fan.
Actually, looking at this, looking at what the situation is with this narrow gauge line, it kind of brings some sort of argument in quarters, but then it's something that is worth looking into. Now, in other parts of the country, for instance, we have the Western Line.
Yes.
Now, the Western Line is standard gauge that takes you all the way from New Lagos to Ibadan and the rest of them. Now, look at what is looking. In fact, this is what you're seeing, looking at now is one of the couches from the red line gauge that was commissioned. That's even within Lagos. All right. Their trains are standard. They look very interesting. In fact, looking at them from the outside, you would want to go in there.
You want to have that experience.
Exactly. Now, that's a standard gauge, right? And when it comes to the Eastern projects now, we are left with the narrow gauge line. Now, the problem with this is that narrow gauge line is what we inherited from the colonial masters.
Exactly.
Now, it's been there. So, first of all, it's old, obsolete, it's substandard, and it has limitations. So, the argument is that at this point, we don't have enough resources to go for the standard gauge. So why not harmonize the gauge lines across the country? Why have standard in the other part? And then in the east, we are left with narrow gauge line that cannot do much. And because of the limitations, of course, that's why we're having to something that looks like this. And people will not really be proud to go via myself personally, even though it's put at I think about 800 for the regular, and then the first class is 1,500. I still would not play this. It doesn't look attractive. It doesn't look safe. It doesn't look standard enough for anybody in
So
2024.
you use it.
So now when people talk about marginalization and stuff like that, these are some of the things that they can hook onto to, talk to the capital, to the federal, that this part of the country is being marginalized. So why would you approve the standard gauge lines in other places? And then when it comes to the eastern, we are left with this. We're supposed to have phased out narrow gauge lines, because first of all, even the speed limit, that's the major limitations. The speed it can achieve, you can't compare it with the standard gauge. So that also affects, because the train travel is supposed to kind of speed up your movement and also reduce the cost.
Yeah.
But now, with what we have,
It's actually one of the disadvantages of the narrow gauge. It's slower, while
Exactly.
the standard one is faster. So if I want to fasten my movement, I wouldn't go for it, because that motive has been killed. I mean, I can't achieve what I actually wanted.
seriously,
Even though they're having some free for some days, I think
Yeah.
for 4 days, they said they'll be moving from Port Harcourt to Umuahia
okay, free of
free
charge.
of charge.
Okay.
And I want on that to look at the comments, and people are not willing to even patronize them
Exactly.
free of charge.
Well, if it's attractive enough for me to pay, then the free ride wouldn't be a problem. And some people, if you've already seen what it looks like, it doesn't matter if it's free or not. For the first instance, you wouldn't really want to. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not impressed with what is going on. I think what is good for the
Good is good for
very
the
much good.
standard, yes.
So they talk about, because what they did was to rehabilitate the
What we already had.
and that cost about, I think it was about $3.something billion, while to construct the standard gauge, from what the Minister of Transportation said earlier, it was going to cost about $14 billion. So that was done in some other parts. And then when it comes to the east, what he said was that the country doesn't have enough funds anymore to fund the construction of a standard gauge line for the eastern project.
They should have
And that
just
doesn't-
waited
that doesn't
till they
really-
have the funds to give us
Exactly.
the standard one that what we
Also,
have
they
now.
could have at least started it to a certain point, so that the next administration can also continue from there. You don't have to conclude it in this
You know who's
administration.
spoken against this continuity? Being able to start something and the next administration coming and not wanting to finish up what they've started,
Yeah.
probably thinking it's not good enough, it's not up to the standard. So
Well,
if you want to start something, just start something that you
That's
can
like
finish.
that's like a sickness with the Nigerian government, continuity, we know. But if you're able to do so, say, okay, you want to do, say, from Port Harcourt to a certain destination, standard, complete. This is what my administration is able to do. The next administration can at least take it up from there, continue from there. It's not like you're doing it haphazard. That particular location, the locations you've chosen, you make sure that you have them complete. So then it's easier for the next government to say, okay, we are picking it up, we are continuing from there. We're not going back to rehabilitate, to maintain or do anything from the other part. We're just continuing from there. I think it's going to be easy, and it will make a lot of sense. And that sense of belonging and unity will be fostered. This doesn't really look good as far as I'm concerned. As far as democracy and oneness in this country is concerned, that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Exactly, which takes us back to what we said earlier. What is good for the goose
Definitely
is good for the gander.
We're past the colonial era. We shouldn't be dealing with things like this, actually. Anyway, so with that, we go straight to what we have next for you today. We go straight to the cultural diary, where we will be looking into the preparation of 2 important local dishes. We'll be right back after the break.
To prepare the first dish, you will need any species of African black beans, or akidi, as the locals call it. You will also be needing abacha, which is made from cassava that has been boiled, cut, and soaked in water overnight. Other ingredients include bunga fish, hot leaves, palm oil, dry pepper, calabash nutmeg or ehuru as the locals call it, and ongo, which is a very important catalyst used in making many Eastern Nigerian dishes, especially abacha. Start by boiling the akidi beans for several hours until it softens and the color changes to brown. Also wash your abacha and set aside. Pound your calabash nutmeg to form a powder. Add your crayfish and pound them together and set aside. Add some palm oil into a pot or a bowl. Add some of the ngo and some dry pepper and stir very well. You need to stir till the mixture turns yellow. Then go in with your washed and drained abacha. and combine very well till all the abacha is coated with the oil. Add the pounded calabash nutmeg and crayfish and mix very well. Then add your bonga fish and the cooked akidi beans and combine everything. Also add salt to taste, and at this point, slice and add your hot leaves. Mix everything once more and your akidi and abacha dish is ready. For the yam and bitter sauce, you need white yam, utazi leaves, scent leaves, onions, and fresh pepper. Start by pounding your fresh pepper and onions to a paste. Wash and add your utazi and scent leaves into the mixture and pound everything till well combined. Add some palm oil and salt to the sauce. Mix very well and set aside. Now peel and wash your yam and put them into a cooking pot with some water. Put the pot on fire and cover to cook. When the water starts boiling, add a little salt and cover the pot to allow the yam cook till well done and soft. When the yam is well cooked, bring down the pot and your food is ready to be served.
Welcome back, Michael. And I was scared our Portovian was going to.
Was going to fall off the tripod, yeah?
Now, let me ask you, between the abacha and the yam with the utazi sauce,
Definitely
which
the
would you
second
go for?
one, the yam and the native
I am
sauce.
that I am.
Because yes, I cannot hide the fact that I'm a lover of yam. Because I mean that plant is very fantastic. That particular plant, you can do a lot of things with it. All right, and whichever way you choose to prepare the yam, whether you fry it, you porridge it, you roast it, you boil it, and you make sauce like this one, I will so love it. So it's something that I cannot do without.
I actually like the yam and the utazi sauce, but sometimes
Yeah.
instead of adding the utazi or still with the utazi,
Yeah.
I'll do uba.
Oh yeah, oil bean. That's another point. I think I don't know what's going on with that particular plant because it seems to be going into extinct somehow. It's scarce these days, and even in the villages. Because I remember when I was quite young, we had a lot of the trees in the village. So sometimes, even usually on a hot afternoon, you'll be hearing the sound because once it's mature, it breaks apart on its own and then the seeds fall off. So sometimes you just, as children, you hear the sound of it and you know that it don't happen. Everybody will start running
to go pick them.
But these days, like recently, when I go to the village, I don't even find one tree. I don't find one OEB tree around. Before you find one, it takes a lot of stress. You have to look around quite a lot. So most of them have been cut down and they're not being replanted and stuff like that. So that explains to you why it's very expensive now.
Yes,
because last time I wanted to make this yam sauce or something, I had to look for the way they package it. Even though it's a lot of leaves and then you find nothing inside, it's still expensive for you to buy one of it. Less than you hardly find one that is less than 500 now that even has anything inside of it.
Yeah,
so and that particular plant is very rich.
It is.
So I don't know what's happening. I don't know how we can this planting and replanting of trees and all of that. These are the things that we shouldn't let go into extinction
because we need these plants.
Exactly, it's part of our staple on a daily. I imagine a sauce, native sauce for yam without uba in it. It's almost incomplete.
It's incomplete, and then the utazi leaf itself, which is very, very medicinal. I remember.
Some people don't like it. Do you like it?
I love it. I don't willingly eat it, but because it's good for my health, it helps with digestion.
Yeah.
When I have cramps, I can squeeze the water and drink it. It helps a lot with cramps and indigestion. But to say I'll just go and buy and start eating that utazi.
The point,
it's difficult.
The problem is that sometimes we just like sweet things. We are so used to sweet things that we don't know how important these other things are. As far as see that utazi leaf and the one they call the hot leaf, uziza leaf. And so these are, I love you. For instance, I can't really make some of the native soup the way I love them without the hot leaf, the uziza leaf. Very necessary. There has to be an uziza leaf, native soup, my okra soup. Yes, all of that. So that's the way I love it. And these leaves are very medicinal too. So the way we do them sometimes, it's what makes it interesting. even when I get to buy, because most times I have to order I look for where to get this roasted yam with this sauce. But I'm usually worried because not everybody can prepare the sauce
The
very
way
well.
you want it.
But,
It can
yeah.
never taste as the one you made in
Yourself,
your
just
house.
like you
Plenty
carefully select your
onion,
ingredients, like
take
you
your
saw in that
fresh
video,
palm
yeah.
oil, your crayfish, your fresh pepper, put everything together and have a very delicious meal with your
And
yam.
guys, oil is very important. Goodness gracious. You cannot overemphasize how much bad oil can ruin your sauce, can ruin your soup, whatever it is. Because that's one thing I noticed sometimes when I get to buy these roasties from outside, when you taste the sauce, it's almost very discouraging because the oil used is bad or adulterated. So it gives you that annoying taste that prevents you from, if you use like very fresh oil, goodness, and that's one thing that you enjoy when you are around the village because mostly
You can get fresh
they
oil
make the oil
produced
themselves,
there in the
produced there,
village.
squeezed out fresh. You look at it, the redness is natural. Once you open it, personally, up to now, I can still identify fresh oil. Once I just need to open it, look at it, and probably just a bit of a smell, or in fact, taste. So,
But most times they won't even allow you to taste in the market now.
oh well. So I get to go with my eyes as well.
Both for the yam
Yeah.
and the abacha, we need good oil to taste it. But one thing I don't really like about that abacha is the odudu. I'm not a fan of that black.
Oh, the native beans,
Yes, they use either akidi, which is mainly from Enugu, or odudu for that particular abacha. And I remember when I was growing up, my grandmother made it compulsory that we eat that abacha as a meal in the house.
True.
And when you remember that's going to be your lunch or your dinner,
discouraged.
you feel like, why?
The good thing is that the part can be excused. Yeah, so you can prepare it without that the part. So the good thing also about what you just saw is that these items are mostly readily available in your house, and if you need to get them in the market, they are also cheap. So the point is you don't really need to spend a lot. If you love the Igbo food and maybe you want to try it, you don't need to spend a lot of money. It's something you can get from around your house. If you have gardens, you already can have scent leaf planted there. The uzuza leaf or those things can easily survive around you in your garden. So
and you can get your cassava peel and cut by yourself.
Make it yourself. Yeah, we do that a lot back in the village. So all you need is a little bit of a garden, and then you can enjoy fresh and healthy food every other time, basically.
Definitely you have to enjoy. You either decide to eat the abacha or you do the yam with the otaze.
Highly recommended.
Yes. And please don't forget to do that abacha with fried fresh fish.
Okay.
You will love it. And that's the size of our package today on Eastern Circle. We take you back to our Abuja studios for the rest of Rapid Dawn. See you tomorrow morning. Bye.
Good morning.